Yes. So we'll have a quick revision of this colligative property, what we did yesterday. Okay. So if you remember colligative property, okay, which depends on the number of the solute particles. It doesn't depend on the nature. Okay, so you're just counting how many solute particles are present. We don't see how much is the mass, okay, what nature that solute particles are having. That is not counted. Okay, so we say it is irrespective of their nature. And basically when you are talking about the colligative property, you calculate this for the ideal case. Okay, ideal condition means when the solution is quite dilute. When the solution is very dilute, you know that the solute particles are very far from one another. When they are far, there is no much interaction. Okay, then the behavior will be almost like the ideal condition. Okay, so in that case, we are calculating this. It's not applicable for the concentrated one, applicable only for dilute solution. Okay, and how many kinds of colligative property we are going to study? That is over here. You have four. Okay, one is relative lowering in vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression of freezing point, and osmotic pressure. So yesterday I have started with this relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, just quickly we'll see what was relative lowering of vapor pressure. So it's basically when you add the solid, correct? No, the solute particles to a volatile solvent when you are adding, what happens is what you are discussing now. So initially you have the pure solvent. You will get vapor pressure of that pure solvent. Okay, that I am taking as over here as P1 naught. Okay, I have taken a general term here, P1 naught. Whatever pressure is exerted by this solvent particles over here, okay, that will be P1 naught. And when you add the solute particles, you know that when the solute particles are added, surface area decreases. When surface area decreases, the number of vapors of that solvent will become less. Okay, so you can see here the vapor pressure of the solvent becomes less when the solute is added. Okay, when you take the difference, of this, I have taken P1 as the vapor pressure of the solution. Okay, when you add the solute, you know that the number of particles which will come into the empty space which will be less. So we are considering that as P1. Okay, it's always less. When you add the solute particle, you can always remember for the pure one, the vapor pressure is going to be a little higher than compared to the solution case. Okay, so with that you will be able to identify which is P1 naught value and which is P1 value. Okay, this will be larger. This value is always larger and this value is always going to be smaller than compared to the first one. Okay, because here solute particles are present and they are blocking the way, correct? Okay, now if you are taking the difference of this, if I want to find out how much decrease has happened, then what will I do? I will take this initial value of the vapor pressure minus I will do the vapor pressure value of what I have got for the solution. Okay, so we will do P1 naught minus P1. Okay, then whatever value you get, that will be called as lowering in the vapor pressure. Correct? This is called as lowering, means the decrease which has happened after adding the solute. Okay. Now, if you want to calculate with respect to the pure solvent, how much decrease has happened, then what should I do? I should take this decreased value, that is P1 naught minus P1 value. Then I should divide by the pure solvent. Okay, that is P1 naught. Then whatever you get, that is relative lowering in vapor pressure. That means you are calculating with respect to this solvent, how much decrease has happened. Okay. I believe you are able to understand this point. We have discussed this yesterday. If you want one example, I have taken here. Okay. Imagine there was an exam out of 50 marks. Okay. 50 marks exam was conducted and the child has scored 40. Okay. So now if you are counting how much less marks he has scored, then what will you do? 50 minus 40 you will do. Correct. Then you will get to know, okay, 10 marks has got reduced. Okay. That is lowering. Okay, so here I am talking in terms of pressure, vapor pressure. So initial, this was there, and then after adding the solute, it got less. So like that, only one child, he has written the exam, it was out of 50 marks. Okay, due to some reason, maybe some distraction, okay, he was not able to study properly, he scored 40. Okay, now if you take the difference between 50 minus 40, you will see that he scored 10 marks less. Okay, now he wants to calculate with respect to that original marks how much less he has got. Then what he will do? He will take his marks and divide by the original marks. Okay, the out of which the exam was conducted. So 10 divided by 50. Okay, so yeah, if you are calculating in terms of percentage, you will get here 0.2, correct, no? So when you are calculating in terms of percentage, you will get to know that 50%, 20%, sorry, 20% he has got less. Got the point now? Yeah, he got 80% marks, but then he lost 20%. We are talking about how much decrease has happened here. Okay, we are talking about how much he has lost. So here you can see 20% marks he has lost. That is relative lowering. Okay, when you are calculating out of the total one, the original one, with respect to that, when you are calculating, with respect to this, when I am calculating, you will get to know how much decrease has happened overall. Okay, clear? The concept should be very clear to you. Okay. Yes, then we calculated this, no? Mathematically, we went to the calculation. So I can write a reduction, this one, okay, this what I wrote, P1 naught minus P1, okay, that we can write as delta P1, okay, it's a change, which has happened. So that we are writing in this way, okay, delta P1 is equal to P1 naught minus P1, okay. And you know what is P1 value? P1, the vapor pressure of the solution, it's directly proportional to the mole fraction, okay, it's directly proportional to the mole fraction X1. And then when you remove the proportionality sign, you get P1 naught. That we have substituted. And then we remove the common terms. P1 naught and P1 naught is common. You take that as common, and then remaining is 1 minus X1. And according to mole fraction formula, the number of moles of all the component is equal to 1. So X1 plus X2 is equal to 1. That means if I have 1 minus X1, that value is actually equal to X2. Okay. So we have substituted here. So this value is being substituted here. So after substitution, you get to know that the lowering in the vapor pressure is actually proportional to the mole fraction of the solute. That means how much number of moles of the solute you are going to add, that much of decrease will happen. Okay, more the number of the solute particles, more will be the lowering in the vapor pressure. Okay, so this relation you understood. After that, you like mathematically also we are able to get this relationship. Okay, now this is lowering, correct? No, now you want to calculate with respect to that solvent how much has happened. Then what you have to do, delta P1 should be divided by P1 naught. Okay, this is the original one, no, the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. So I have to divide. Okay, so this whole equation is divided by P1 naught. Okay, so if you rearrange also, you get the same thing. So I have divided this by P1 naught. So when I divide, see, this is what you get. Okay, after dividing, I can write it like this. P1 delta P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to this P1 naught divided by P1 naught will get cancelled with each other. Okay, remaining is X2. So this is relative lowering of vapor pressure, which is again proportional to the mole fraction of the solute. Okay, you can open this and write delta P1 can be written here like this, P1 naught minus P1. Okay, that is over here. The same thing we are just opening and writing. This was one formula which we got in terms of mole fraction we got. Okay, now this same thing you can open and write. No, you know what is mole fraction X2 is equal to. Then you will get in terms of molar mass and everything. Okay, so if you know the mole fraction, then you can calculate the molar mass of that particular solute which is present. Okay, so now X2 is nothing but X2 I can write as number of moles of the solute divided by total number of moles of all the component. So we are just substituting here. Okay, so we are just changing this X2 and writing in terms of N2 divided by N1 plus N2. Okay, and I told you this particular relative lowering we are doing for dilute solution. Okay, it's done for dilute solution where the number of solute particles comparing with the solvent is very less. Okay, so if you are calculating the number of moles of the solute particles in comparison to the number of moles of the solvent, this value is going to be very less. Okay, so if you want, you can ignore this. We can ignore because their value comes out to be very low. Okay, if you keep also no students and do the calculation, you don't get much difference. Okay, because number of moles are very less. If you want, you can take one problem and work out. Okay, so then you will be able to see the difference. Much difference doesn't come. So that's the reason why we ignore this. No, when it is not making much difference, then why to take? Simply because it will increase your calculation. Okay, so we can reduce the calculation, no, like that. So this value is ignored. Okay, N2 value is ignored here. So when I ignore this, what will be left out? P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to N2 by N1. Okay. And N is nothing but the number of moles, and moles is mass divided by the molar mass. No, I'm just writing W here because you have 1 and 2. No, then with respect to that you can substitute. So number of moles is nothing but mass divided by molar mass. Okay. If it is N2, then you will write W2 by M2. If it is N1, you will write W1 by M1. No. So that's substituted here. Okay. N2 you can substitute as this W2 by M2. N1 you can substitute as W1 by M1. Okay. After substitution, you get this W2 by M2 and then whole divided by, we are having W1, that by M1 will come up. No. So it gets multiplied here. So this is another formula which you are getting. Okay. This formula is important. It will help you to calculate the molar mass of the solute. Okay. So till here we had done yesterday. So now we'll continue. Okay. Now formulas which you need to remember. Okay. I've just listed the formula which is important for you. One is lowering of the vapor pressure. That is this one. Okay. Delta P1 is equal to P1 naught minus P1. Okay. So this is one formula which is important. Okay. If they ask you only lowering of vapor pressure, make use of this. Then next one what you have seen is relative lowering of vapor pressure. That is delta P1 by P1 naught, which you can open and write as P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to X2. And then this you have in terms of number of moles, and you can write even in terms of molar mass. Okay, then the equation goes like this. If you are writing in terms of number of moles, okay, then it is N2 divided by N1, because we have ignored plus here N2 is also there, no, that you remember we have ignored. So then you will be left only with the N2 by N1. Okay, and then substitute for this number of moles, you get W2 into M1 divided by M2 into W1. Okay, you can make a note of these formula. At the end, you can write this. Yes, we'll go for working out the problems now. Before going for that, see, always this one is there, no, that represents for solvent. Remember, always. One is a solvent and two is a solute, because see, first one, what you take is a solvent, no? Solvent is always large in quantity, and to that you are adding the solute. Okay. So solvent will be taken as 1, and then you are adding the solute afterwards. So that will be taken as 2. Okay. So wherever you find as W2, that W2 is the weight of the solute. Okay. 2 will be the weight of the solute. And weight of the solute is always less. That's one more clue for you to remember. Okay. Weight of the solute is always less than compared to the weight of the solvent, because solvent will be large in quantity. Okay. So W2 will be weight of the solute, and then W1 will be the weight of the solvent. Okay, this will be solvent. Similarly, molar mass also. Okay, M2 will be the molar mass. This will be the molar mass of the solute. And then M1 will be the molar mass of the solvent. Okay, so 1 is always related to solvent and 2 is always related to solute. So there should not be any confusion. So let's directly go for working out the problems. Okay, we are going to work out, and problems are important. All the colligative properties problems which I am going to do, make a note of that properly, because anyways later I will be sending you the notes. That notes doesn't have the problem part. Okay, they will have only the definitions and the concept thing will be there. Problems you have to write down. Okay, here everyone. So we'll start with the first one now here. And I want you to participate. Later I'll be asking you personally. Okay. You can write down the first question. Then we will work out. First, make a note of this. I'll give you a few minutes time. Quickly make a note. Yes, we'll start working this out. So the problem given to you is the vapor pressure of the pure benzene at certain temperature is 0.850 bar. Okay. Pure benzene is given to you. Then a non-volatile non-electrolyte solid weighing 0.5 gram when added, 0.5 gram when added to 39 gram of benzene, which has molar mass. They have given molar mass also to you all. Okay, sometimes they don't give, then you should know the formula of the compound and know to calculate also. Okay, few basic compounds, you should make a habit of remembering how to calculate. So then they are saying vapor pressure becomes 0.845 bar. What is the molar mass of the solid substance? Okay, so you need to calculate what is the molar mass of the solute, correct? No, so molar mass of the solute, that will be M2, correct? So M2 is a question mark for us. This has to be calculated. This is what we need to find. Okay, now we will list what is given to you. Okay, whatever is given to us in this problem, we will list everything. So this is first problem, I will do everything. Then next one, I will be asking you all. Okay, so now let's start with the first one. Vapor pressure of the pure benzene. Pure benzene means what? P1 not. Okay, so I'm starting with whatever is given. Okay, not the solution part, whatever is given to us. Okay, so vapor pressure of the pure benzene, that means, yeah, P1 not. So P1 not is always higher, I told you. So you can see here it is 0.850 bar. Okay, so this is over. Okay, next we will see what is given. You can see here vapor pressure becomes, means after adding the solute, they are saying vapor pressure becomes 0.845 bar. That will be P1, no? That means the vapor pressure of the solution when you have added the solute. Okay, so P1 value also we got. P1 not we have got and P1 also we have got. Okay, okay, now next one. Next what is given? This is given, no? The solute is given to you and they are saying how much is the weight of the solute also. So we can write down that solute and the solvent. Solvent is 39 gram. Okay, solute is 0.5. You can see solute is always less. So I can write here mass of the benzene, W1 is 39 gram and mass of the solute is W2, that is 0.5 gram. Yeah, and next after that immediately, correct, very good. Benzene, which is a solvent, molar mass of that solvent is also given. That is 78 gram per mole. Okay, so I can write molar mass of the benzene, M1, is 78 gram per mole. Okay, so all the things are given to you. No, only the thing remaining is to calculate the molar mass of the solid substance. So it's a direct substitution problem actually. Okay, so we'll directly go now next. This has to be calculated. This I will write as a question mark. This has to be found out. Okay, this is to find. Rest everything is given. Okay, now I'll directly go. See, I've written in detail. You can just write in this way. Okay, next page you can see here. P1 naught is this much. P1 is over here. M1, W2 and W1. Okay, like this if you write is also fine. Now we'll substitute in the formula. The formula goes in this way. P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to W2 into M1 divided by M2 into W1. Only this except this, rest everything is there. So you can directly substitute. Substitute in that. Okay, 0.85. You don't have to write this unit. We will not write this unit. Okay, you can just write the values. Enough. Just write down this value. Okay, now calculate. You can do this calculation and tell me what is the value you are getting at the end. Yes, everyone has finished. This is the final answer. Okay, on substituting, you get 170 because it's molar mass, so it is gram per mole. Okay, we'll go for second one now. Okay, second one, you can see 3 gram of urea is dissolved in 9 gram of water. Calculate the relative lowering in vapor pressure. You can copy this question first, then we will work out. Yes, now I want you all to tell me what is given here and what are they asking you to calculate. Prasiddhi can tell me. Yes, Prasiddhi, you can unmute yourself and tell. Okay. Yes, tell me, what is given?
W1 is given as 9 gram.
Little louder, we can't hear,
Yes.
okay? Little louder.
Now, can you hear me? Am I audible, ma'am?
Now, yes, yes.
Yeah, so W1, that is the mass of the solvent, is given as 9 gram.
Yes.
That is mass of water. And then W2, mass of the solute, is given as 3 gram.
3 gram. Okay. And what are they asking you to calculate?
The lowering of vapor pressure, that is P0 1 minus P1,
Hmm.
I
Okay.
guess.
So P1, this is what we need to calculate. Now your formula is correct, what you said. P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught, which is equal to
Yeah.
W2 into M1.
W2 into M1
Yeah.
divided by M2 into W1.
Yes, good. Okay, now this we have. W2, as you said, we have. W1 also we have. What about these two things? Because we need to calculate this whole thing, correct? This is what you said we have to calculate. Now these
We
two
can
things are given to us. These two are not given. M1 and M2 are not given. So what are we supposed to do now?
find the molar mass of water.
Yes,
Uh,
good. And that is how much it will
and
be?
then
What do you tell?
18
How
grams.
much it will be?
Yeah, 18 grams.
Yes,
18.
okay, good. Yes, fine. Very good, Prasidhi. Yes. Then next one. Yeah, so whatever she has listed, okay. So I believe even you have got the same thing. Mass of the water, okay, that is always higher. W1, 9 gram. And then mass of urea, W2, 3 gram. Because weight of the solute is always lesser. Correct, no? And then to find out is P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught. Okay. And you know the formula. It goes like this. W2 into, this is the whole thing which we need to find. Okay. Relative lowering in vapor pressure. But for that, that is equal to what? W2 into M1 divided by M2 into W1. So we have W2 and we have W1. These two things are not given. Now M1 is for the molar mass of water. No, here solvent is water. Molar mass of water. Okay, that has to be calculated. Correct? You know how to calculate, no? 2 hydrogen. So 2 into mass of hydrogen is 1 plus mass of oxygen is 16. So total it will be 18. Okay, so you'll get 18 gram per mole. That is water. Yeah, urea now formula. Urea formula is NH2CO NH2. Okay, most of the time they give in the problem, but in case it's better that you remember these formulas, okay, like glucose, sucrose, water, urea, benzene. These are like frequently used terms, solute which you are going to use and the solvent which I used. It's better if you only remember it, okay. So NH2CO NH2, this is our molecular formula. So how much will be the molar mass of this urea? You can tell students how much it will be. Yes, good. Everyone got? Molar mass of urea is 60 gram per mole. You have 2 nitrogen there. 2 nitrogen, that is 2 into nitrogen is 14. Plus hydrogen is 4. So 4 into 1. Plus 1 carbon, so 12. Plus 1 oxygen, so 16. If you add them together, you will get 60. Yeah, now it is direct substitution. No, you got everything. No. Now what is there? Directly substituting. These two things we didn't have. So we had to find out. Okay. Now substitute. And tell me the final answer. How much you are getting? W2 is 3. M1 is 18 divided by M2 is 60 and W1 is 9. Point 1, right? Everyone, point 1 you are getting. You can cancel here, see. 9 twos are correct. Then this 2 threes are and then 0. 3 ones are and then 10. 1 by 10 I'm getting. So it's 0.1. Yeah, now unit you see. Be careful with the unit. It's vapor pressure divided by vapor pressure. So you think relative lowering of vapor pressure will have any unit? It's almost like how you have for mole fraction, no? Number of moles divided by number of moles. And they get cancelled. So it doesn't have a unit, correct? No unit. So even this one, relative lowering of vapor pressure doesn't have a unit because this vapor pressure which is there above gets cancelled with the vapor pressure which is there below. Okay, so your answer should be only 0.1, nothing else. But if you're talking about lowering in vapor pressure, then that should be written in terms of whatever pressure unit is given. Okay, lowering. But when you're calculating with terms of relative, then they get cancelled. Okay, got the difference? When the unit comes and when the unit is not to be taken. Yeah, okay, we'll go for next now. Write down third one. Yes, so the question is vapor pressure of pure water at 298 Kelvin is 23.8 mm of Hg, that is mercury. 50 gram of urea, molecular formula is also given, you can see NH2CONH2, is dissolved in 850 gram of water. What you are supposed to calculate is vapor pressure of the water from this solution and the relative lowering. Yes, now Sagar, can you tell me what is given here? All the terms which are listed. Yes, unmute yourself and answer. How much?
W1 is equal to 850 gram.
Yes,
and
good.
urea is given. Weight of urea, W2 is equal to 50 gram. Then molecular weight of water, that is M1, is equal to 18 gram per mole.
Yes, very good. Yes.
M2 is given as 60 gram per mole. Then P1 naught is given as 23.8 millimeter of Hg.
And what you're supposed to calculate here?
The vapor pressure of water.
That's symbol?
P1 naught. P1.
P1. Okay. Then? There are two questions. No, one is vapor pressure of water in the solution, and the other one is relative lowering.
P1 naught.
P1 naught minus, it's relative lowering of vapor pressure, no? So what is the formula? P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught. This one, okay? Relative lowering of vapor pressure. Yes, okay, good. So I have listed here. Vapor pressure of pure water is given. P1 naught is given as she said, okay? She has listed everything correctly. So now you can see. Next, weight of the water, W1. And then weight of the urea is W2. It's always less, no? You can see solute is always less than compared to the solvent. Then molecular weight of water, you can calculate by yourself. So it's 18 gram per mole. Then molecular weight of urea, M2, 60 gram per mole. Okay, that you can calculate like before what we did. Okay, using this molecular formula, you can calculate the molar mass. And here you have water H2O. You can calculate it is 18 gram per mole. Okay. So two parts are there for you to calculate here. One is vapor pressure of water in the solution. That means P1. Okay. Whatever of the solvent is there in the solution. Then relative lowering of vapor pressure. That will be P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught. Okay. So if you know these values directly, okay, P1 naught value, P1 value and P1 naught value, you can directly substitute and find out relative lowering of vapor pressure. Suppose if pressure values are not given, then you have to go in terms of mass and molar mass substitution, correct? So you can do either way also because both are equal to one another, no? So I have taken this one now. Are you able to understand how to calculate relative lowering? Since we will get P1 naught and P1 value, we will have it. So you can directly substitute, no, in terms of pressure. Or you can do in terms of this also, okay? W2 into M1 divided by W1 into M2. This also you can take. You will get same answer for both. They are equal to one another, no? Yes. Now you can substitute this and now you all only find out and tell me what is the answer you are getting for P1. After substitution, that will be your vapor pressure of water in the solution. Okay, very good. Yeah. Most of them have got. Yeah, I think many have got the answer. Okay, many were typing and telling me the answer. P1 value, if you have got, you can tell students. Okay, because we have only few minutes left and the meeting will get over. So quickly, I will tell you the final answer, okay? P1, yes, many have got no, so I will directly write the answer. P1, after calculation, you will get 23.38 and that should be with the unit, okay, bar. This, sorry, mm of Hg, no, given, so mm of Hg it will be. mm of Hg, okay, you see the unit what is given there. So it's mm of Hg. This answer everyone has got? Yeah, approximately 23.4. Okay, P1 you will get. Then you have to calculate relative lowering, no? Second part. Okay, so relative lowering. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. That's equal to P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught. Yes, very good. Yeah, many have got this answer. Okay. So I will substitute now here 23.8. This is the initial one for the pure one. Minus solution is 23.38 divided by 23.8. And you see pressure and pressure will cancel one another. You don't get any unit. Yes, final answer is 0.017. I'll just write only 3 decimal after the point, okay? After the point, I have written only 3 digits. No unit for this. This is the answer, everyone. Yeah, excellent. Okay. I believe everyone has got this. We'll continue tomorrow now. Okay, it's almost time and there are few questions which I will send you in the group. Okay, you can work out by yourself. Whatever I've worked out here, okay, these are board questions which is been like repeatedly asked in your board. So I've worked out that here. 3 problems are enough to understand how to work out because the concepts are similar, only your numbers will change. So remaining problem, 2-3 problems are there. I will send you in the